Happy has just released Arc 7 Chapter 73, and this video will be a summary of the chapter. I highly recommend you check out my Arc 7 Chapter 72 summary. Anyways, let's begin. Weiz, Logon, does not believe he can live and die uprightly. The hometown of Weiz was Glaracia, a city where many of Valakia's weapons and armors are made. About half of the population made weapons, and Weiz was no exception. He had no parents and was forced to do odd jobs, so he had no passion for creating weapons. Weiz worked silently. People watching him would have thought he was quiet and creepy. However, Weiz was fine with that. He did not want to fit in. Since he was born alone, he was fine with dying alone. When materials that were brought to his workshop was going missing, Weiz was the first person that came under suspicion. Since he worked alone, he had no alibi, meaning he was charged with a crime he didn't commit, and branded with a tattoo which will allow people to judge the guilty from the non-guilty at a glance. The brand on his arm was easily visible. It was so hot, so wearing a long-sleeved cloth would be extremely suspicious, as if you had something to hide. Weiz turned to crime in order to get food. In an ironic way, he was guilty of a crime he didn't commit, which in turn made him become a real criminal in the end. The tattoo, which started from his elbow and went all the way to his hand, was soon joined by more tattoos which covered his whole body. Someone with that many tattoos is a sign that they're very dangerous and you shouldn't approach them. "Stop, you sinner!" With that, Weiz surrendered to the guards. Beneath him lay a bloodied man with an ear cut off. This man was the person who accused him of the first crime he didn't commit back at the workshop. Weiz, known as the scoundrel of the city, was then shipped to the island of swordsmen. One day, Weiz wished to be treated as a human. The scene changes and Weiz pushed Subaru out of the way towards Tanza. This was a good move, as Tanza was someone with a strong body but weak mind, which is the opposite of Subaru, who has a strong mind and a weak body. Weiz knocks the decapitated head away. However, a witch beast appears, smashing through the wall of the passageway. The witch beast wasn't aiming at Weiz or Subaru, it was aiming at the guard's decapitated head, and it pierced it with its beak. Weiz's back was also bombarded with debris. However, Weiz keeps his eyes on Todd. Even though the man learned of Subaru's true identity, the man doesn't back down. The man was a real threat. Todd's eyes narrow and he raised his left arm, and Weiz also raised his left arm. Weiz knows that the man is going for the kill. Todd swings his axe, but Weiz raises his left arm at the same angle as the axe swing, causing the axe to cut deep into his arm and shatter his bone. Weiz's left arm was mangled and it was a dark color. Weiz could only do something as reckless as this since he met a young boy that was even more reckless, which gave him the power to press forward. Since Todd's axe blow was blocked by Weiz's left arm, Weiz tried to grab Todd with his right arm, but Todd disappeared. It's strange, the right side of Weiz's vision expanded at once, almost as if it was crushed by something. Weiz turns around and sees that the eagle witch beast's neck was cleaved by the man who vanished. However, Weiz knows something is wrong as someone calls his name, and he collapses to the floor. At least now he mutters that he was finally being treated as a human. Subaru then tries to run to Weiz but is pulled back by Tanza. We see that the frog witch beast appears near Weiz, and the passageway which Weiz is standing on collapses, causing both the frog witch beast and Weiz to fall all the way down. So again, for some of you who are sort of confused, I made this sort of mock-up about what happened. So this is the layout of the hallway. So you have Weiz who dashes forward, and then the eagle witch beast flies in, destroying the wall, which creates a sort of isolation event for Weiz, where he's sort of sandwiched between Todd and the eagle witch beast. And then we have Todd, who then runs forward. He tries to attack Weiz, which crushes his arm. He spins around Weiz, attacking him and stabbing him in the eye, and then Todd kills the eagle witch beast, which just leaves Weiz and the eagle witch beast out of action, meaning that Todd can then go on to Subaru and the rest. And of course, during this, the frog witch beast comes down and the hallway sort of collapses, which causes Weiz and the frog witch beast to disappear from view. We see that Weiz's left arm was crushed by Todd's axe, and not only that, he was stabbed in the right eye by a knife. Todd mutters that it's lucky that the frog witch beast fell down, and Subaru realizes that the events that transpired was too fast, and he can't think straight. Todd states that the witch beasts eat the corpses of the people that break their horn. Todd points to the corpse of the guard, explaining that breaking the horn lets you control the witch beast. But once you die, the witch beast will obviously be mad, so it's as if the witch beast will eat the corpse out of spite. He then calls it disgusting. Todd knew in advance that the guard's head that he threw was the person responsible for breaking the eagle's horn. So he killed that guard and threw the head at Subaru in the group because he wanted them to get caught up in the witch beast attack. However, Weiz intervened. Todd states that Weiz was a friend, and now he's dead. Subaru is confused. Usually Todd never talks or gives information, so why is he talking now? Either way, Weiz is dead. Subaru shouldn't have let him intervene. Weiz should not have died there. As Subaru thinks, Todd states that Subaru finally looks like a kid as he raises his axe. Todd's explanation was to force the reality of the situation onto Subaru and make him confront his friend's death. And while Subaru was then overwhelmed with the reality of the situation, it would make Subaru, who appeared as an unknown enemy, to revert to being a child, allowing an opportunity for Todd to strike. However, Tanza moved in first, calling out to Subaru. Todd immediately frowned and said that Tanza was doing it all wrong. Todd quickly kneels on the floor and stretches out his arm, knocking Tanza out of the hole that the big witch beast created when it crashed into the passageway. Tanza's scream could be heard as she fell all the way down to her death. Todd says, "The Emperor's son, you're out of your mind," as he swings the axe, attempting to kill Adora. However, Subaru pulls Adora, causing all of them to fall down. We see that Adora, Subaru, and Hyan all fall on their butts, and Hyan tries to use his mimicry. But Todd asks why he's trying to turn invisible when he's standing right there. As soon as Todd makes eye contact with Hyan, the mimicry is broken, and Hyan panics, and Todd then proceeds to cleave him, killing him. Adora gets back up and says to do a duel if Todd's a warrior, but Adora's expectations are betrayed as Todd stabs him in the neck with a knife. After all, Todd is not a warrior, he's a soldier. As Adora tries to pull out the knife, Todd swings the axe, crushing his head and killing him. Everyone was dead. Tanza fell down. Also, she didn't come back up. Everyone was most likely dead. Todd asks if Subaru is really the Emperor's son. The lie about Subaru being the illegitimate son of the Emperor drove a wedge into Todd's mind. Even he wanted to know if it was the truth. Subaru asks why Todd did not surrender. After all, he is the Emperor's son. Subaru went along with the rumor and the lie to ensure that his group was combined in their efforts. He assumed that Todd would raise the white flag. However, Todd just killed all of his friends. Todd states that there's no reason to surrender when you can be killed at any time. It's best to negotiate when you have the upper hand. It's harder to make a mistake that way, and Todd states that it gives him a peace of mind. Todd states whether or not Subaru is the illegitimate son of the Emperor, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that his name sounds similar to someone else's, and his smell is also similar to a dangerous guy that he knows. Subaru talks about noxious gas, and Todd states that his nose is very good, and that is something else. It's a real pungent smell that Subaru has. Todd then asks if Subaru has a brother. If so, he can keep Subaru alive as a bargaining chip. This surprised Subaru. Todd most likely thinks that the big version of Subaru is Subaru's older brother, and that the cross-dressing version of Subaru is also related since they have a very similar name. Either way, Todd has the option of not killing Subaru. Subaru pictured everyone that died. Tanza, Idora, Weiz, Hyan, but still Subaru couldn't die. Subaru asks Todd if he knew about his brother, wondering if he can take advantage of Todd's confusion, but Todd grabs Subaru's face, preventing him from speaking, and then Todd states, "You just tried to manipulate me, didn't you?" With that, Subaru was then stabbed in the chest, and Subaru tried to crawl away, but Todd stopped him and then crushed his head with his axe. When Subaru comes to, he sees Weiz uttering his last words, that people finally treated him as a human, and the frog witch beast and Weiz fell down to their deaths. No matter what Subaru does now, Subaru can no longer save those he cares about, and with that, his heart breaks, and the chapter ends. So, quite a good chapter. Again, I like any chapter with Todd in it. I know it may be an unpopular opinion, but I really do like Todd. I feel like he makes Arc 7 so fun, because he's not overpowered. He's just a normal guy that plans stuff. Again, Todd is talking about Subaru's smell. Again, I'm not sure if this means miasma, or if it's like a bad vibe. I think a commentator was telling me that it could be like a fishy smell. I don't know. But it just keeps cropping up, this idea of Subaru smelling bad. So, I don't know. But yeah, I really like that chapter. It seems like there is going to be permadeaths. Weiz is permadead. Gustav is permadead. The old man in the medicine room is permadead. But yeah, we'll see where this goes.